Introduction. Welcome to Thrive Sphere, where your health journey after 50 becomes stronger, smarter, and more empowered every day. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial and misunderstood corners of modern wellness: bone supplements. Pill from calcium chews to collagen powders, magnesium sprays to mystery bone builder pills. The supplement aisle is overflowing with promises. But how many of them truly work? And which ones might actually be doing more harm than good? In this video, we'll unpack the real science, expose the marketing myths, and guide you to smart, evidence-based choices for lifelong bone strength. Let's start with what you're really made of. Chapter 1: Bone Basics: What keeps them strong? Before we dive into the world of supplements, let's take a closer look at what bones actually are and what they need to stay strong. Your skeleton isn't just a hard, lifeless framework. It's a living, metabolically active organ system. In fact, your bones are constantly being broken down and rebuilt through a process called bone remodeling. Every single day, two types of specialized cells go to work. Osteoclasts break down old or damaged bone tissue, releasing minerals like calcium into the bloodstream. Osteoblasts build new bone by laying down fresh collagen and depositing minerals. This continuous cycle ensures your bone stays strong and resilient, but only if the balance between resorption and formation is maintained. If breakdown outpaces rebuild, bones become porous and fragile. This balance is influenced by three main factors. Nutrients. Bones are like bricks and mortar, they need both structure and glue. Calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and protein provide the building materials, while vitamins D and K2 ensure those materials get placed correctly. Repeat button hormones. Estrogen, testosterone, parathyroid hormone, and calcitonin regulate how actively your bones remodel. Hormonal shifts, especially during menopause, can accelerate bone loss. Herbal lifestyle. Weight-bearing activity stimulates bone growth. Chronic stress, poor sleep, sedentary behavior, and inflammation interfere with bone maintenance. Bottom line, your bones reflect your overall health, and no one supplement can replace a healthy system. Supplements can help, but only as part of a bigger strategy. Chapter 2: Calcium, essential or overrated? Calcium has long been the face of bone health, and while it's undeniably important, it's far from the whole story, and too much of it in the wrong form can actually backfire. Check mark why it matters. About 99% of your body's calcium is stored in your bones and teeth. It provides hardness, structure, and mineral density to bones. It also plays a crucial role in muscle contraction, nerve signaling, and blood clotting. Warning sign: the problem with oversupplementing. Taking large doses of calcium, especially without complementary nutrients like vitamin D, K2, or magnesium, can lead to calcium deposits in arteries and soft tissues instead of bones. One major study from the BMJ in 2010 linked high-dose calcium supplements with an increased risk of heart attacks, particularly in older women. Another issue? Many people already get adequate calcium through food, particularly if they consume dairy, fortified products, leafy greens, or calcium-rich fish like sardines. Oversupplementing may provide little benefit, and even potential harm, if the rest of the nutrient puzzle is missing. Pushpin smarter calcium strategy. Target intake: 1,000 mg per day, under age 50, 1,200 mg per day, women 50 plus and men 70 plus. Prioritize food sources: yogurt, cheese, bok choy, kale, almonds, tofu. If supplementing, limit to 500 mg per dose to improve absorption and pair it with vitamin D and K2. Electric light bulb pro tip: don't just dump calcium into your system, build the scaffolding that helps it stick where it belongs. Sun with Face Chapter 3: Vitamin D, the calcium gatekeeper. Calcium gets all the attention, but vitamin D is the doorman. It controls whether calcium gets absorbed and used, or wasted. Sun with small cloud why it's essential. Boosts intestinal calcium absorption. Without it, only 10 to 15% of dietary calcium gets absorbed. Supports bone mineralization, muscle strength, immune function, and anti-inflammatory effects. Regulates parathyroid hormone, PTH, which, when elevated due to low D, steals calcium from your bones. Face screaming in fear the deficiency epidemic. Vitamin D deficiency is alarmingly common. An estimated 40 to 60% of adults in North America are deficient or insufficient, especially during winter, in northern latitudes, and among those with darker skin tones. People over age 50 make less vitamin D from sun exposure, and sunscreen blocks over 90% of production. What works? Vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, is better absorbed and longer lasting than D2, ergocalciferol. Optimal dosing ranges from 1,000 to 2,000 IU a day, though some may need more under medical supervision. Megadoses once a month aren't as effective for maintaining stable blood levels. Bar chart blood test guide. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxyvitamin D test, 25-OH-D. Ideal range, 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter for bone protection and immune health. Sun with rays #pro tip. Get 10 to 20 minutes of direct sun exposure daily, no sunscreen, face and arms exposed, when possible. Chapter 4, Vitamin K2, the missing link. You've probably heard of vitamin K in the context of blood clotting, but vitamin K2, a subtype, plays a much more specialized role in your bone health. The bone-calcium connection. Vitamin K2 activates osteocalcin, a protein made by osteoblasts that binds calcium into the bone matrix. Without K2, calcium can end up where it doesn't belong, like in arteries, joints, or soft tissues, leading to arterial calcification and stiffness instead of bone strength. Frying pan with egg food sources. Natto, fermented soybeans' highest natural source. Grass-fed dairy. Liver. Egg yolks. Fermented cheeses, e.g., Gouda, Brie. Most Western diets are very low in K2, especially if fermented foods or organ meats aren't consumed regularly. Best supplemental forms. -7 Malawian kwacha's, menaquinone 7 long-lasting, well-studied, best for bone and cardiovascular support. Dosage, 100 to 200 mcg today. Warning sign #note, K2 doesn't interfere with most blood thinners, unlike K1, but always consult your physician if on anticoagulant therapy. Electric light bulb key insight, think of K2 as the traffic controller for calcium. Without it, your skeleton suffers, and your arteries harden. Atom symbol #chapter 5, Magnesium, the unsung hero. Magnesium is often overlooked, but it's absolutely essential for strong, flexible bones. Hammer and wrench #what magnesium does for bones. Activates enzymes involved in bone remodeling. Helps convert vitamin D into its active form, calcitriol. Aids in the synthesis of collagen, the protein matrix of bone. Stabilizes ATP, the cellular energy source for osteoblasts. It also plays a role in calming the nervous system, which supports better sleep, an underrated factor in bone health. Face with open mouth a problem. An estimated 60 to 70% of people are deficient, largely due to processed diets, soil depletion, alcohol intake, and chronic stress. Magnesium deficiency leads to low bone density, muscle cramps and spasms, elevated inflammation and oxidative stress. Pill best forms of magnesium. Magnesium glycinate, calming, gentle on digestion. Magnesium citrate, good for occasional constipation. Magnesium threonate, crosses the blood-brain barrier, may benefit cognitive function too. Avoid magnesium oxide, which has poor absorption and often causes GI discomfort. White heavy checkmark dosage. RDA, 310 to 420 mg day, depending on age and gender. From both diet, leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, and supplements if needed. Electric light bulb tip, take magnesium at night, it supports muscle relaxation, sleep, and nighttime bone rebuilding. Chapter 6, Collagen, does it really help? When people think of bone health, they often focus on minerals like calcium. But what most don't realize is that before your bones become hard and mineralized, they're built on a soft, flexible matrix made mostly of collagen. Left-pointing magnifying glass. What the research says. Collagen isn't just skin deep. It plays a fundamental role in the internal scaffolding of bones. Studies have shown that collagen peptides may stimulate osteoblasts, the bone-forming cells, to produce more bone matrix. A 2018 randomized, double-blind study published in Nutrients observed a significant increase in bone mineral density, BMD, among postmenopausal women who took 10 grams of collagen peptides daily for 12 months. Improvements were most notable in the spine and femoral neck, common fracture sites in osteoporosis. White heavy checkmark. Best type. The most effective form is hydrolyzed collagen peptides, often derived from bovine, cow, or marine, fish, sources. Hydrolyzation breaks the collagen into smaller, absorbable amino acids like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, which are then used to rebuild bone, cartilage, and skin. Electric light bulb. Pro tip. To enhance collagen synthesis, take your supplement with a source of vitamin C, like orange juice or a vitamin C capsule. Vitamin C is a cofactor in collagen formation. Without it, your body can't produce or repair collagen properly. Pushpin. Typical dose, 10 grams per day, taken consistently for at least 6 to 12 months to notice results. Chapter 7, Strontium, Bone Builder or Red Flag. Strontium is a mineral similar in structure to calcium, and it has generated buzz in the bone health world, partially because it makes bone density scans look better. But here's where it gets tricky. The medical history. Strontium ranulate, once used in Europe to treat osteoporosis, showed some promise by reducing fracture risk. However, it was pulled from the market after studies linked it to increased risk of blood clots, heart attacks, and strokes. Now, strontium citrate is widely available in over-the-counter supplements, but without the same level of medical scrutiny or dosage control. Police cars revolving like the concern. Strontium doesn't just support bone, it replaces calcium in the bone matrix, which can make bones appear denser on DEXA scans. However, this density may be deceptive. It might not translate into stronger, more resilient bones, and long-term structural effects remain poorly understood. Pushpin. Bottom line. Unless prescribed and closely monitored by a healthcare provider, strontium supplements are not recommended. They may create a false sense of security while masking underlying bone weakness. Focus instead on the basics, nutrients that strengthen bone naturally without altering its composition. Herb. Chapter 8, Herbal Bone Boosters, Fact or Fiction? The supplement aisle is full of natural bone support formulas, many of them herbal. But which ones actually help, and which are all hype? White heavy checkmark. Promising herbs. Horsetail, Equisetum avans. High in silica, which supports collagen synthesis and enhances calcium absorption. Traditionally used for bone healing, though research is still early stage. Red clover contains isoflavones, plant-based estrogens, that may mimic some of estrogen's bone protective effects. Small studies suggest it may reduce bone loss in postmenopausal women. Ashwagandha. Known for lowering cortisol levels, this adaptogen may indirectly protect bones from stress-induced breakdown. Also supports thyroid and adrenal function, both important for bone metabolism. Crossmark. Overhyped or lacking evidence. Alfalfa, often included in bone blends, but lacks robust data. Wild yam claims to balance hormones but has no direct bone-supporting studies. Proprietary blends often contain dozens of herbs in tiny, ineffective doses, without clinical evidence. Pushpin. Caution, herbal remedies may interfere with medications or have hormonal effects. Always consult a professional before starting any new botanical supplement. Chapter 9, The Real Bone Builders, What Works According to Science. It's easy to get overwhelmed by flashy labels and miracle claims. But science tells a clearer story. Here's what consistently shows up in peer-reviewed research as effective for building and protecting bone. White heavy checkmark. Calcium, fundamental mineral for bone structure, but only when taken with cofactors like vitamin D and K2. White heavy checkmark. Vitamin D3, essential for absorbing and utilizing calcium properly. Deficiency leads to poor bone mineralization and muscle weakness. White heavy checkmark vitamin K2, -7 Malawian kwacha's, helps direct calcium into bones and prevents it from hardening arteries. Crucial for synergy with D3. White heavy checkmark magnesium activates vitamin D, reduces inflammation, and is part of bone's mineral matrix. White heavy checkmark collagen peptides improve bone matrix flexibility and structure. Particularly useful in postmenopausal women. White heavy checkmark weight bearing and resistance exercise, arguably more powerful than any supplement. Signals your body to build stronger, denser bones. White heavy checkmark sleep and stress management, bone remodeling occurs mostly during deep sleep. High cortisol levels from stress degrade bone tissue. Pushpin combine these factors for a holistic approach. A supplement-only strategy without addressing sleep, movement, and diet won't be enough. Waste paper basket # Chapter 10, What to skip, supplements that waste your money. Let's face it, there are dozens of bone health products out there that are more sizzle than substance. Here's what to be cautious about. Crossmark calcium alone. Taking calcium without D3 or K2 may do more harm than good, especially if it ends up in arteries instead of bones. Crossmark bone blends without transparency. If the label says proprietary blend without listing exact doses or sources, be skeptical. Many include underdosed herbs or low-quality minerals. Crossmark strontium citrate, unmonitored. As mentioned, may alter bone scans without improving real strength. Potential safety concerns exist. Crossmark unproven herbs. Ingredients like wild yam, dong quai, or alfalfa may sound natural, but without standardized extracts or proper studies, they're not reliable. Crossmark megadoses of single nutrients. More isn't always better. Extremely high doses of vitamin D, calcium, or magnesium can create imbalances or side effects. Pushpin red flag warning. Be especially wary of claims like builds bone in 7 days or 100% reversal of osteoporosis. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Electric light bulb Chapter 11, How to build your ideal bone stack. After all the myths and marketing, what should a smart, effective bone supplement routine actually look like? Here's a breakdown based on current scientific evidence. Nutrient daily dose range key notes. Calcium 500 to 1000 mg split into 2 doses. Best with meals. Focus on food first. Vitamin D3 1000 to 2000 IU. Check your blood level first. Aim for 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. Vitamin K2, -7 Malawian kwacha's, 100 to 200 micrograms work synergistically with D3 and calcium. Magnesium 300 to 400 mg. Best forms, glycinate or citrate. Avoid oxide. Collagen peptides 10 grams. Take daily with vitamin C for optimal benefit. Optional additions. Boron 1 to 3 mg today. Helps retain calcium and magnesium. Also supports vitamin D metabolism. Silica 10 to 25 mg today. Supports collagen formation and connective tissue strength. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA or DHA. Anti-inflammatory, shown to reduce bone loss in older adults with chronic inflammation. Pushpin Pro Tips. Take your supplements consistently. Bone turnover is a slow process, results come over months, not weeks. Pair supplements with a bone-building lifestyle, exercise, quality sleep, and whole food nutrition. Package Chapter 12, Choosing the right supplement brand. Not all supplements are created equal, and when it comes to bone health, quality matters just as much as the ingredients themselves. Here's what to look for in a trustworthy brand. Heavy checkmark #1. Third-party testing is non-negotiable. Independent verification ensures what's on the label is actually in the bottle, and nothing more. Reputable certifications include NSF certified for sport, USP verified, Consumer Lab tested. These seals show the product has passed rigorous tests for purity, potency, and safety. Heavy checkmark #2. Transparency about ingredients and sourcing. Quality brands clearly disclose. Ingredient origin, e.g., calcium from algae versus calcium carbonate from limestone. Doses of each nutrient, no mystery blends. Whether ingredients are organic, non-GMO, or allergen-free. Avoid any supplement that hides behind proprietary blend labels without listing exact dosages. Heavy checkmark #3. Clean formulation. Steer clear of artificial colors or dyes. Synthetic preservatives like BHT or BHA. Magnesium stearate, in excess, talc, or titanium dioxide. Choose brands that keep it simple and clean. Heavy checkmark #4. Proper dosing and delivery forms. For example, vitamin D3 over D2. Magnesium glycinate or citrate over oxide. Calcium citrate for those with lower stomach acid. Speech balloon trusted brands, examples, not endorsements. Pure encapsulations. Thorn Research. Now Foods. Garden of Life. Mega Food. These companies have a reputation for scientific rigor, third-party testing, and clean formulations. Chapter 13. What your doctor might not tell you. Despite good intentions, many healthcare providers don't receive in-depth training in nutritional supplementation. This leads to common mistakes. Warning sign #1. Outdated advice. Doctors often prescribe calcium carbonate alone, without D, K2, or magnesium. But calcium carbonate requires strong stomach acid to absorb, which declines with age. Without K2, calcium can end up in arteries. Without magnesium, bone remodeling is impaired. Warning sign #2. Skepticism without nuance. Some physicians say supplements don't work because many studies used poor quality forms or improper doses. Real effects require time, 6 to 12 months minimum. Supplements alone aren't enough without lifestyle changes. It's not that all supplements are useless, it's that not all are used correctly. White heavy checkmark what you can do. Ask your provider for 25 OH-D vitamin D status. Serum calcium and magnesium. PTH, parathyroid hormone, shows how well calcium is being regulated. Bone turnover markers, e.g., CTX, P1NP, if available. These tests help personalize your plan based on actual deficiencies or imbalances. Bar chart Chapter 14, What the Research Says, Summary of Key Studies. Let's distill decades of research into the essentials. BMJ, 2010. Found a link between high-dose calcium supplements and increased heart attack risk in older adults. Especially problematic when calcium was taken without vitamin D or K2. JBMR, 2018. Randomized controlled trial of postmenopausal women. 10G day of collagen peptides improved bone mineral density in the spine and femur after 12 months. Nutrients, 2022. Review showed that vitamin K2, -7 Malawian kwacha's, combined with vitamin D3 improved markers of bone mineralization. K2 also helped reduce arterial calcification in at-risk populations. Endocrinology, 2020. Animal study, magnesium deficiency led to rapid bone loss and structural weakness in mice. Magnesium is critical for activating vitamin D and regulating bone cells. Osteoporosis International highlighted how strontium artificially inflates DEXA scan scores, masking true bone strength. Pushpin takeaway, quality nutrients, used correctly, show measurable benefits. But shortcuts or fads often backfire, or worse, give false confidence. Scales Chapter 15, Who should supplement? Not everyone needs bone supplements, but if any of the following apply, you might benefit from a targeted plan. Small orange diamond 1. Postmenopausal women. Estrogen declines sharply after menopause. This accelerates bone loss up to 20% in the first 5 years. Small orange diamond 2. Family history of osteoporosis. If your mother or grandmother had fractures or height loss, your risk may be higher. Small orange diamond 3. Limited sun exposure. Live in a northern climate? Work indoors? Use sunscreen daily? These all limit vitamin D production. Small orange diamond 4. Vegan or dairy-free diet. Harder to get calcium, vitamin D, B12, and K2 from plant-only sources. Fortified foods help, but gaps are common. Small orange diamond 5. Medications that deplete bone. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, reduce calcium absorption. Corticosteroids like prednisone impair bone formation. Certain SSRIs and seizure medications can also increase fracture risk. Small orange diamond 6. Diagnosed osteopenia or osteoporosis. Supplements should be part of a comprehensive approach alongside exercise, diet, sleep, and possible medication. Pushpin reminder: supplements are just one piece of the puzzle. They are not magic pills, but they can close critical gaps when used wisely. Shield Chapter 16, Your Bone Health Game Plan. Here's a clear and science-backed roadmap you can start using today to build and maintain strong bones. 1. Eat nutrient-dense whole foods. Prioritize leafy greens, dairy, if tolerated, tofu, sardines, almonds, beans, eggs, mushrooms. Include fermented foods like natto for K2. Pair collagen-rich foods, bone broth, skin, tendons, with vitamin C for better synthesis. Weightlifter 2. Move daily, especially with impact. Weight-bearing exercise, walking, dancing, tennis, hiking. Resistance training, bodyweight, resistance bands, free weights. Aim for 3 to 5 days a week, targeting legs, hips, spine, and core. Sleeping phase 3. Sleep 7 to 9 hours nightly. Deep sleep is when bone repair and hormone regulation happen. Melatonin itself supports bone remodeling. 4. Manage stress proactively. Chronic cortisol drains calcium from your bones. Practice deep breathing, yoga, nature walks, journaling. Consider ashwagandha or L-theanine as natural support. Pill 5. Supplement wisely. Only after food and lifestyle are optimized. Calcium, 500 to 1000 mg per day, preferably from food. Vitamin D3, 1000 to 2000 IU day, test levels. K2, -7 Malawian kwacha's 100 to 200 mcg a day. Magnesium glycinate or citrate, 300 to 400 mg day. Collagen peptides, 10 g day. Optional: boron, silica, omega-3s for added support. 6. Screen early. DEXA scan, start by age 50, or earlier if you have risk factors. Track changes over time and adjust your plan accordingly. Final thoughts. Your bones are not a lost cause after 50. They are responsive, resilient, and waiting for your attention. Don't fall for flashy supplements or fear-based marketing. Instead, honor your biology with smart, steady, science-backed care. Sparkles because strong bones don't just keep you standing. They keep you living, moving, and thriving every single day.